Welcome to Shatter.
Support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I promise even more interesting stories. She stood there like she was doing me a favor. Arms folded, eyes calm. And then she said it. You can either accept I sleep with my boss or leave. That was the moment everything froze. No warning, no tears, just an ultimatum with a smirk. Like I was the inconvenience in her carefully curated mess. She gave me two options. I picked the third. I didn't scream, didn't throw anything, didn't even ask why. I just looked at her and said, "Start packing." Her smile twitched. She didn't expect that. She thought I'd beg, break, fight for a seat at a table she'd already set for someone else. But I wasn't there to negotiate. Not with someone who put a price tag on loyalty. I walked past her, opened the hallway closet, grabbed the empty suitcase we hadn't used since our last vacation. The one where she spent most of the time texting work updates. Now I knew who was on the other end. She followed me into the bedroom, still talking. Said it wasn't like that. Said I was overreacting. But her eyes gave her away. Flat. Cold. She wasn't trying to fix it. She was trying to control the fallout. She kept talking, but I'd stopped listening. All I heard was the sound of her image shattering. I packed her things with the same care she packed our relationship. Quick, careless, and only halfway. By the time she realized I wasn't bluffing, I'd already called a locksmith, texted my landlord, changed the login to our joint accounts. She asked where I was going. I said, forward. No shouting, no speech, just motion. And when she tried to block the door, I didn't push. I just waited. Because even her drama couldn't live long in silence. She moved. Not because I scared her. Because I no longer needed her. Later that night, I placed her keys on the counter, next to a note. Return what's mine. Or I return your lies to your HR department. She blinked. Finally realized the rules had changed. She wasn't the one with leverage anymore. I gave her no closure. Just consequences. Because when someone offers you poison in two flavors, the smart choice is to leave the table. By morning, her clothes were gone. But her perfume still lingered in the hallway. That fake sweetness masking something rotting underneath. She didn't take much, just what she could throw into two bags. She assumed I'd call. That I'd break first. That I'd come chasing, desperate for closure. Instead, I changed the locks. Scrubbed her name from every shared account. Removed her from the family plan, the streaming logins, even the grocery app. Control wasn't going to be shared anymore. Not after she tried to sell it. She called once. Didn't answer. Then again, 3 hours later. Left a voicemail this time. Said she didn't mean it like that. Said I took it the wrong way. Said we should talk like adults. But adults don't play games with loyalty. Adults don't test the man who made them a priority. I deleted the voicemail without listening past the first sentence. The next day, I went into my office and found her boss's LinkedIn profile. Smiling. Self-congratulatory. The kind of guy who shakes your hand while texting your girl under the table. He looked exactly how I expected. Polished, soft, smug. A man who had never been punched for running his mouth. I didn't need to threaten him. Didn't need to confront. I sent a copy of our last 6 months of rent receipts, paid solely by me, to her company's ethics inbox, with screenshots of her texts bragging about extra hours with the boss. No commentary, just facts. They could connect the dots themselves. Meanwhile, I started rearranging the apartment. New layout, new furniture, tore the bed frame apart and burned the sheets. Not out of spite, out of necessity. You can't rebuild peace in a space that still smells like betrayal. By Friday, I'd gone full ghost. Blocked her number. Scrubbed her photos. Deleted the playlist she once made for me with the caption, "For late nights and forever." Turns out, forever expires the moment someone gives you an ultimatum wrapped in a threat. She thought I'd fight for her. Scream. Cry. Chase. What she didn't count on was that silence cuts deeper when it's permanent. By week's end, the phone calls stopped. But not because she gave up. Because she switched tactics. I got a message from her sister. Then one from a mutual friend. Polite. Curious. Disguised as concern. "Hey, just checking in. She said you guys had a disagreement." Disagreement? Like I'd objected to dinner plans. Not the fact she was offering herself to her boss like some twisted career perk. I didn't reply. Didn't explain. Because real silence isn't just not talking. It's making others talk in your place. Let them wonder. Let her twist the story into something softer. It wouldn't matter. I'd already burned the bridge. Not dramatically. Quietly. so cleanly that by the time she looked back, there was no path left to walk. Saturday night, I saw her name flash on my phone again, this time from a new number. Blocked. Instantly. Then I updated my phone settings to block all unknown callers. I wasn't running. I was erasing. On Sunday, I walked into a bar alone. Sat down. Ordered a drink I hadn't had since college. The bartender asked if I wanted to start a tab. I told him no. I wasn't sticking around long enough to owe anyone anything. That same night, I saw her again. Not in person. Online. A post. A selfie. Hair done. Smile sharp. Caption: strong women don't beg. They rebuild. I almost laughed. The performance was on schedule. But you don't rebuild when you've burned the foundation. And the truth? She wasn't trying to heal. She was trying to bait. She wanted me to comment. To message. To react. I didn't. Because when you truly detach, you stop seeking justice. You just disappear. She had underestimated me for too long. Thought I'd crumble under her rules. Now she was choking on her own silence. And for the first time since she drew her little line in the sand, she realized she was the one standing alone on the wrong side of it. She kept posting like nothing happened. Photos at brunch. Gym selfies. Outfits with captions like, new energy, same fire. She wanted to be seen. Wanted me to see her. But I'd already moved on from the show. I wasn't in the audience anymore. She made herself look untouchable. But behind every filtered post was desperation. A woman who thought she still had control, but couldn't find anyone left to manipulate. On Tuesday, her boss emailed me. Yes, emailed. Not to apologize. To defend himself. Said things were misunderstood, that it wasn't personal, and he hoped no one needed to get HR involved. I didn't reply. I forwarded the email to her company's compliance officer. No message. Just forward. Then I blocked him. This wasn't a conversation. This was cleanup. That night, I came across an old notebook. One she'd used for journaling early in the relationship. Back when she still tried. When we meant something. I flipped through pages of goals, plans, even baby names. None of it hit. No weight. No sting. Because once a person hands you betrayal, nostalgia stops working. Wednesday morning, I ran into her at the grocery store. She looked surprised. More than surprised, panicked. Asked how I was. Said I looked good. I nodded once and reached past her for a bottle of water. Didn't ask how she was. Didn't give her space to explain. She said we should catch up sometime. I walked away. Not fast. Not angry. Just done. By Friday, I'd closed the last account we had left together, our old storage unit. I went there alone. Found her boxes still sitting in the back. Photos. Trinkets. One of my shirts. I didn't touch them. I called the manager, paid for one final month, and gave instructions. After 30 days, donate or destroy. She got the notification by email. She knew exactly what it meant. Her final thread to my life was cut. Quietly. Without announcement. She wanted to play power games. She wanted to be worshipped or feared. But I wasn't playing. I wasn't reacting. And nothing terrifies someone who feeds on control more than a man who no longer flinches. The next move was classic. A text from her new number. Can we meet for coffee? No drama. Just want to talk. I didn't answer. 3 hours later, another. I miss what we had. I didn't mean to hurt you. That one, I read twice. Not because I cared. Because it confirmed what I already knew. She thought time would soften everything. That silence meant forgiveness. But my silence wasn't passive. It was strategic. She thought I'd spent the last weeks hurting. What I'd actually done was evolve. I'd changed my number. Updated my emergency contacts. Started seeing a therapist, something I'd put off during our relationship because she called it a waste of time. I wasn't rebuilding for her. I was removing her fingerprints from my life, one move at a time. She posted a photo of a book I once recommended, captioned Healing and Accountability. I'd seen enough. I blocked her new number. Then I called my attorney. It was time to make it official. No drama. No screaming matches. Just paperwork. Boundaries. Closure she wouldn't be allowed to touch. The next day, a friend called, one of the few I still kept. He said she'd been asking questions. Said she was spiraling a bit. I thanked him, then told him not to mention me to her again. I wasn't a topic. I wasn't a memory to be rehashed in her redemption arc. I was gone. That weekend, I boxed up the last few remnants, an old hoodie, a birthday card, her favorite coffee mug. Dropped it all off at a donation bin. No notes. No explanations. Some stranger could sip from that mug now. Let them inherit what she tossed away. She once made herself the sun in my world. Everything had to revolve around her. But stars don't beg planets to stay. I wasn't orbiting anymore. I was light years ahead. She tried to pull me back in with nostalgia. But all I remembered was the way she smirked the night she gave me two options, and how easily I chose neither. It was around week 4 when her confidence cracked. Her photos changed. Less bold, less curated. The filters couldn't hide the regret anymore. You could see it in her posture, in her eyes. She had lost the script and didn't know how to play the new role. I didn't gloat, didn't smile. I just watched from a distance as she unraveled the image she spent years perfecting. Regret hits different when the person you're trying to impress no longer watches. She started reaching out to old friends we both knew. People she'd pushed away when she thought she had leverage. Now she circled back, playing the misunderstood victim. Said things like, "He just changed," or "I didn't think he'd actually leave." But the truth? I didn't change. I just stopped tolerating the version of love she called normal. She showed up at my gym once. Didn't speak to me. Just made sure I saw her. Tight workout gear. Hair perfect. But the mask was slipping. Even her smile looked tired. Forced. She stayed for 15 minutes, then left without finishing her routine. I didn't follow. Later that night, I got an email. Subject, just one conversation. She wrote 2 paragraphs. No apologies. Just questions. Why I didn't fight harder. Why I didn't scream or argue. Why I walked away like none of it mattered. She didn't understand. The absence of chaos was the answer. I'd already fought. In silence. In strategy. In decisions she never saw. She wanted a scene. I gave her a clean exit. The next morning, I replied with one line. You made your choice. I made mine. Blocked her email. Deleted the thread. No closure. Just completion. And when I looked at my reflection that day, something was different. It wasn't just peace. It was power. Not the kind that needs to be proven. The kind that speaks loudest when you say nothing. The shift happened quietly. Her name stopped echoing in my head. Her voice, once sharp and lingering, dulled into background noise. What used to haunt me just faded. One morning, I woke up and didn't check my phone. Didn't scroll. Didn't wonder if she'd messaged. Because she no longer lived in my now. And that was the first real win. I started building a life in silence. Joined a new gym across town. Took up hiking again. Cooked meals I actually wanted to eat. Not ones she pinned from some influencer she followed. I even reconnected with an old friend, Marcus. The one she told me to spend less time with because he wasn't serious enough. Funny thing is, Marcus had been the first to see through her. Called her a performance wrapped in perfume. Back then, I defended her. Now I understood. She messaged again, through a fake account. Different name, same voice. You look like you're doing well. I just hope you're okay. That's when it hit me. She still thought this was about emotion. That I was healing from her. But healing implies damage. She didn't break me. She revealed herself. And once I saw her clearly, the weight lifted on its own. People don't realize the power of clarity. It's not loud. It's not emotional. It's final. She started liking my posts again. The subtle, pathetic breadcrumb trail of a woman who thought she could circle back. But I wasn't there to be found. Not anymore. I changed the privacy settings. Locked everything down. She used to control my reactions. Now she didn't even get access. I could imagine her sitting there, staring at a blank screen, wondering how she lost a man who never raised his voice. Just walked away and never looked back. But that's the thing. She didn't lose me that night with the ultimatum. She lost me in every moment. She treated me like I was lucky to have her. Now she's just another story I'll never tell in full. And I'm the ghost she won't stop chasing. Not because she loves me, but because I didn't beg to stay. By week 6, she stopped pretending. The confidence in her posts vanished. No more quotes. No more half smiles. Just recycled selfies and tired captions about growth. The final stage of control is panic. And she was living in it. She sent another email. Said she was ready to talk without judgment. Offered to meet just once. No apology. No ownership. Just a last gasp. A hope I'd still need her voice to close the story. But I'd already written my own ending. And in my version, she was just background noise. I didn't reply. I archived it without a second thought. Then I did something she didn't expect. I deactivated all my social media. Not out of hiding. Out of peace. She had used the digital world as her stage. Thought she could haunt me through likes and comments. But I unplugged the spotlight. And with that, Her performance collapsed. She reached out to my cousin, said she was worried about me, asked if I was seeing someone, wanted to know if I still talked about her. He laughed and told her, "You're not a topic anymore." That silence echoed louder than any insult. I started going to the same cafe we once loved, sat in the same seat, drank the same coffee. Only now, the table across from me was empty, and it felt right, balanced. People think closure comes in conversation, but sometimes it comes in the quiet sip of a black coffee. No sugar, no bitterness, just the taste of moving on. She made one final attempt. A letter, handwritten, left at my building's reception. The envelope smelled like the perfume she used to overuse. I read the first line. "Do you remember our first date?" I stopped there. Because yes, I remembered. I remembered everything. And that's why I'd never go back. I tore it in half, dropped it in the trash, didn't burn it, didn't rage, just discarded it like a memory that no longer served any purpose. She wanted a door to open, but I left her nothing but a wall. She thought there'd be closure, but I gave her the one thing she gave me the night she chose someone else. A silence deep enough to drown in. It had been almost 2 months when I saw her again. Not planned, not dramatic, just a random crossing. Parking lot, late afternoon, grocery bags in both hands. She froze, eyes wide, half smile twitching like she didn't know whether to wave or disappear. I nodded once, kept walking. Because what do you say to someone who burned the house and expects you to admire the ashes? She turned to speak, but I didn't stop. No tension, no anger, just indifference. And that's what broke her. I heard later, from someone mutual, that she'd started telling people I was emotionally distant, that I'd changed without warning, that I'd left without giving her a chance. That's the beauty of silence. People have to fill it, and they often do it with lies. I didn't correct anyone, didn't justify, because when your life speaks clearly, you don't have to. I'd built a rhythm she never knew. New circles, new focus. I started mentoring a kid from the community center. Spent weekends hiking, clearing my head under open skies. And most of all, I began writing again. Stories, thoughts, not about her, about freedom. She was no longer the heartbreak. She was the turning point, the catalyst that showed me the cost of self-betrayal. She had tried to make herself unforgettable, but I had rewritten the pages so cleanly that even her name stopped echoing. When I went home that night, I passed by an old photo in a drawer. Us, her leaning on my shoulder. I didn't tear it, didn't burn it. I just closed the drawer and kept walking. Because the past doesn't deserve a ceremony. It deserves a boundary. And the truth? She thought this was still her story, but I wasn't her supporting character anymore. I was the author now, and her chapter was over before she realized the book had moved on. It ended the same way it began, with her trying to control the narrative, and me refusing to play. She posted one last thing, a long caption about growth, healing, and forgiveness. Said some people walk away because they're afraid of real love. Said others ghost you because they can't face what they ruined. It was aimed at me. Every word a final shot in a war she already lost. But I didn't engage, didn't screenshot, didn't reply. I just turned off the app and went for a run. 6 miles. No music, just the sound of my breath and the rhythm of release. By the time I got home, I felt lighter, not just physically, soul deep. That night, I wrote her name down for the last time, then crossed it out. A full line. Not harsh, not angry, just complete. She thought there'd be redemption, that one day we'd meet by accident, lock eyes, and something would click. But nothing clicks when the pieces were never made to fit. She used to say I was too calm, that I shut down when things got tough. She never realized. That calm was me deciding, planning, cutting ties with surgical precision. She thought my silence was weakness, that I was emotionally frozen. But frozen things shatter. I didn't. I hardened. I reshaped. I moved forward. The last piece of her I let go was the idea that I needed to understand. I didn't. Understanding her would never heal me. Erasing her did. So when people ask now, what happened with her? I just say, she gave me 2 options. I created my own. They nod. Some smile. Others press for details. But I don't give them. Because power isn't in the story. It's in the refusal to relive it. She lives now in a loop she created. Looking back, wondering, wishing, and I live in a present she'll never touch. In peace she'll never understand. Because when a man learns to choose himself, not out of ego, but survival, he becomes someone no apology can ever reach. What would you have done in my place? If the story hit you, leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe. It only gets stronger from here.